Hi guys, I'm Sherri. Welcome back to my channel. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. Today I'm here to do this look that I have on my face right now for a good friend of mine named Cindy, who had seen this look in my NYX Lippy video and said, could I please do a tutorial of this look? So that's what I'm here to do today. And I absolutely love it. I wore this for Christmas Eve and got lots of compliments, especially on these ginormous lashes. And so if you'd like to see how I got this look, please keep watching. I am going to be using this beautiful Jaclyn Hill palette, which continues to be one of my absolute favorites. I love it so much. I could use it every day. I really could. And sometimes people ask, like, if you're stranded on a desert island and you could only have one palette, what would it be? It would probably be this one. So yeah, I like it that much. It is an excellent palette. I think mostly because of the color range. There's just so much you can do with it. And the other thing that was important to the look were these lily lashes. And the style is Monaco. Obviously I used them the last time. So there they are. They're just over the top and I love them. I absolutely love them. So just FYI, I really love doing requests. If there's something that I have had on in a video that wasn't a tutorial or an eye look video and you really like it and you would like a tutorial on it, please leave that in the comment section because I love to do requests for people. I absolutely feel inspired whenever somebody likes what I've done and wants to see it recreated. So feel free to do that anytime. All right, folks. Bear with me as these don't have names on them, but I have the card that came with it, and it's like microscopic. So bear with me as I stare into the oblivion of this palette to see what the names are for these shadows. But as you can see, I have all my foundation work done. My eyes are also primed with Painterly Paint Pot and set with Creme Brulee by Wet n Wild. That's just my, per usual thing that I do to prep my eyes for any eyeshadow look. So to begin, I start going in between for a transition. I start going in between these two shades, which are, see what I told you? See what I mean? Which are Silk Cream in MFEO. And if you guys know what MFEO is from, it's from that movie Sleepless in Seattle, Made for Each Other. And these two shades are made for each other in regard to combining them for the perfect transition shade. So let's go in with that. And if I didn't say so, this is a really fluffy BH Cosmetics blender brush. Alright, so that's a really good base. As you can see, you don't really need to be precise with where you place this. We're really just kind of getting down a foundation of color to blend upon. If you'll notice, I do pull mine up rather high because with hooded eyes, if you don't, none of that transition will be poking out under any of the other colors. And so then when you go back and highlight your brow bone, that will put a distinction between the transition color and the brow bone, if that makes any sense. I think it does. All right, so I move on. This is really a gradient from light to dark is basically what I've done, and I've mixed a lot of these colors. That's usually what I do when I'm putting on my makeup. I just let the creative juices flow and just dip into what looks good at the moment and what I think would look good together blended and come up with something beautiful that way a lot of the time. Alright, for the next part of this look, I use the Morphe M511, which is just kind of a egg-shaped blender. I like it because it's tapered, and it really goes nicely into the crease on the upper part of the crease, and it blends while it deposits. And for this, I believe, I'm trying to remember, but I'm pretty sure I did it exactly this way. I think I blended these three shades together for the shade that goes on the upper crease. And these shades are Butter, Pooter, and Pukey. How nice. Pooter and Pukey. But anyway, so I just kind of dip into all three of those and then go for it. I start with windshield wiper motions and then end up going kind of in tiny little circles just to blend it out a little bit more. And then going back with the previous brush without any additional product, I'll just go and do very large kind of messy circles just to combine those two and make sure there's not any distinction between the two. And I generally do that with every eye look that I'm doing. I generally use the previous brush to blend out the next color, and I think that's a really good way just to make sure everything is really seamless and blown out. Alright, next I take an even smaller brush, which is like a Sigma E25, a Morphe M433. I have lots of Coastal Scents brushes that are a similar size and shape. Basically just your standard blending fluff. This one is actually the Coastal Scents. It's a BRC 250. And this is a dupe for the E25. What I do with this generally is outer corner work. If it's a lightish color, I do it all with this. If it's a darker color, I usually place it first and blend it with this and maybe add a little bit of color with this. But this is one of my favorite brushes, and I use at least one form of this brush every day, and usually more than one of these actually. And like I said, it's a gradient that's going from lighter to darker. And for the next shade down, I'm going to go into this shade, which is kind of a reddy brown. It's called Buns. And also this more cool tone brown, which is called Mocha. I'm going to start with those two, and I'm pretty sure I worked in a little bit of this darker one called Chip, and maybe this really dark one down here called Central Park. So these two together and then these two together. I'll tell you the other ones when I get to them, but for now, Buns and Mocha on the blending fluff. With these colors, what I'm really trying to do is accentuate that area right there where, like, I'm really tucking it into my crease right there because I want to go along the line of my actual eyeball. I want to give some dimension and just really sculpt out that area right there. So that's what I'm attempting to do with this brush and this color combo. Alright, so that's what I'm looking for there. That just brings a lot of warmth to the outer corner and into the crease. Just such a pretty warm combination of colors, and I love that. For the darker color, I choose an even smaller brush, and this is what I meant when I said I use a smaller brush to place the product first and then go in and blend. After I have the color placed. And this is when I went very, very lightly into these two darker colors, which are Chip, which is right here, and Central Park, which is right here. And I'm using the Makeup Geek defined crease brush to place the color for this one. Make sure to start slow with this one and build up because it's really dark. And I'm really going to emphasize the outer V with this. I'm going to keep it really tight in that outer corner unless I accidentally poke myself with it and put it on my eyebrow bone. Yeah. Alright, now I'm going to take the brush that I used before without adding any product and go in and blend that out as well. Mostly just pretty vigorous circles and pulling forward as I do that. Pulling toward the crease. So we've got a really nice dark outer corner going now. I do feel like I need a tiny bit more of that product just to give it a little bit of a better blend. So I'm going to go just into Chip. And just for further blending the previous brush to that one with the lighter colors on it, and just using that to blend the whole thing out, just kind of go over the entire thing with this brush. And then finally the beginning brush just around the outside of it, just to regain any of that transition color warmth on the outside that maybe got blended away. So that's kind of the base. And at this point, I want to go ahead and do my lower lash line, and then I'll get into the really beautiful shimmery pinkness that's going to go on the inner 2/3 of my lid. So first, lower lash line. I'm going to go in with the really dark color using my Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow brush. I like it because it's really flat and tapered. And so I'm going to go into that combination of Chip and Central Park here and here, just on the tip. I'm not showing you, sorry. Here and here, just on the tip. And since I went back in there 3 times, I'm going to tap it. But I'm going to use that to go right up to, like right up into my lashes, as close to the lash line as possible, because we'll blend that out with a lighter color in a minute. But at first here, I just want to get the darkness right up next to the lash line to match up with the outer corner colors. I'm going to go about 2/3 of the way in. I feel like they're not matching up on this outer corner here, so I'm going to go back in and blend those 2 little areas together right at the corner of my eye. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to use a BRC N09, which is another Coastal Scents brush. It's got a very pointed tip, but it's very fluffy and soft. So if you go in with this under a dark color, it really helps to diffuse it. I'm going to go into the lighter of the 2 midtones here, which is Buns. And I'm going to put it just right on the tip. And I'm going to go, got a little hair still. There we go. I'm going to go right under the very edge of the darkest color, and just go kind of vigorously back and forth, because I'm doing this to blow that out and pull it down a little bit and blend out the darker color. Just kind of merge the 2 together, and I pull that color almost all the way in. I want that lower lash line to be really smoky. and down a little bit. And that's exactly what I have. I love that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my brow bone highlight and my inner corner highlight before I move forward with the lid color. I like to kind of get everything complete before I start messing around with glitter glue and all that stuff. So what I used for that is kind of a dome brush. This is a Morphe brush. It doesn't have a number. It just says Morphe. That's one thing I wish Morphe would actually change, and that is when they sell sets, that they still number the brushes, at least for us beauty vloggers who would like to tell our viewers what we're using exactly. But if you've got quite a few brushes, you probably have something similar to this. If nothing else, use just a standard pencil brush. I find that those are a little bit too stiff and kind of scratchy, and it's not very comfortable. But anyway, so I'm going to use a mixture of In Light and Beam, which are these two shimmery colors up here. I'm going to go into both of them, tap it off, and go into my inner corner with it. Really trying to brighten this up. I just kind of go in little circles. I try not to get it too far underneath my eye. I like to concentrate it right there on the actual inner corner. Perfect. And then a concealer brush for me works best here. You can use whatever you like. I use a BH Cosmetics 102 concealer brush. It's kind of big, but I'm also going to go back into both those colors, and I'm going to go right, I'm going to tap that first. I'm going to go right up into the most arched part of my eyebrow. I'm just going to concentrate that right there and leave it there, because I don't want my whole brow bone to be shimmery, which I've said 8,672 times. This would be the perfect palette if it had a matte cream shade, but it does not. And I tend to go completely across my entire eyebrow, the underside of my eyebrow, when I'm using a matte highlight. But whenever I'm using a shimmery, I like to keep it in a concentrated, smaller area where it doesn't take over the look. And with that beginning blender, I'm just gonna go in between right there just to make sure that there's not a line there where I put the highlight. So we are all good with the foundational matte work, and now is when comes the pretty sparkly goodness. What I ordinarily do is use a brush for glitter glue, and in some of my other videos I'm sure you've seen that I talk about using glitter glue to make shimmery shades appear even more metallic or even more shimmery. And so that's what I did with this look. I just put a little bit of glitter glue on the inner part of my lid and used my finger to go over with the shimmer, and it was like stunning, beautiful, very, very distinctly metallic. So I think it takes shades that aren't ordinarily that metallic and makes them that way. So that's what I did with this look. My favorite glitter glue is the NYX Glitter Primer. A really inexpensive alternative is the e.l.f. glitter glue. I did do kind of an experiment with the two of these, and this one outshined, no pun intended, the e.l.f. by a long shot, but it'll work if you don't want to pay the price for this glitter glue. So like I said, ordinarily I use a brush, but for this I'm just going to put a little bit on my finger, kind of smear it around in between two fingers so it's not one big glob, and then I'm just going to press it into all the areas that I would like. Had a little chunk of shadow there. All the areas that I would like this shade. The shade that I'm going to use is Faint, and it's this beautiful light pink color. It's a baby pink color. I love all the pinks in this palette, but especially that one. It's just beautiful on the eyelid. I do one eye at a time because I want the glue to be tacky. I don't want to give it time to dry. I use about that much. And like I said, I just kind of smear it in between my fingers and pat it onto my eyelid. If I feel like I need some more, I just go back to the other finger and add a little bit. So we've got tackiness as we needed. And I'm gonna wipe off the glue because I like to use my ring finger for everything. And go into the shade, if I can get it open, Faint. It's a beautiful pink. Beautiful, beautiful. And then I'll go in and place this on my lid. I like to go up a little bit into my crease so that when my eyes are closed, you can still see some of it. And so that's how I put the foundation of it down. In a moment, I'll go back in with a brush to make sure I get into the areas that I couldn't fully reach. Kind of pat it over the area where the light color and the dark color merge. And then I'll go back in and blend that a little bit after I do the other eye. Back in with the glitter glue. And just rub it in between my two fingers there. And then onto the lid. And back into Faint. I kind of do a pat and drag motion. That's where I get the most metallic effect. Ah, that's so beautiful. I love it. In fact, I think this might even look prettier than it did the first time I did it. I think I'm being a little bit more cautious and precise because I'm not in a mad rush like I was that day. I don't think there's anything more fun than whenever you have time just to sit and play with your makeup. And take care of every little detail. Okay, I'm really happy with that. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so as a finishing touch here, just because I'm extra like that, I'm going to go back with the blending brush and just kind of do a little blend in between those two colors so that there's not a distinct line. Want those just to melt into one another. Yeah, just like that. Alright, that is it for the eyeshadow, you guys. Next we've got to curl lashes, put on eyeliner, put on mascara, and put on lashes, those beautiful lily lashes. So that's coming up. Alright, time to go in with the Tarte eyelash curler and go ahead and curl my lashes. I like to do that before the eyeliner so I don't disrupt the eyeliner once it is placed. Next, I'm going to go ahead and do my winged eyeliner with my Kat Von D Tattoo Liner and Trooper. It's my favorite. All right, two very nice wings there. We're going to go in with two different mascaras. For the bottom lashes, I'm going to use MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash. And on my upper lashes, I'm going to use my Tarteist Lash Paint. If you notice, I have some glitter in my hairline. You'll probably see a little bit of it on my face. I did a New Year's Eve look last night. I'll link that up above somewhere. I'm using a lot of glitter and a lot of it just hung on. I think I'll be finding it for a while. Alright, going in with the Tarteist on my upper lashes. Alright, all the mascara's done. Time to go in with the lashes. Again, I'm using the Lily lashes in the style Monaco. I'm going to use my Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive. Alright, so we have the lashes on. The band's concealed as well as possible, but these lashes are what make this look so glamorous. But here's the finished look for you. Super beautiful, but I think the lashes are what make the look. I really do. I like them a lot. My mom took pictures of me and she's like sending them to people saying, look at these eyelashes. Anyways, yeah, they're a little over the top, but that's what I like about them. So the last thing was a really beautiful berry lip, and I used NYX Prune Lip Liner and NYX Matte Aria Lippy. So I'm going to do the same thing right now. And there we have it. I really like this color. I think it's very classy, very pretty, and very fall. I really like it. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Cindy, for requesting this, because like I said, I'm always happy to recreate a look if there's something that I'm wearing in a video that you really like. That is, if I can remember exactly what I did, but I think this is pretty close, if not exactly. Maybe even a little bit prettier than the first time around. You know, practice makes perfect. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, take care and God bless. Bye, guys.